Welcome to the last micro lecture for Module 3, C# ternary operators. This is an advanced decision structure, and it's one that I use almost all the time. All right, so let's jump into the code. So in the last ode, or the last micro lecture for Module 3, we went into detail about logical operators and how they work. But now what I want to do is I want to turn everything on its head. I want you to think about if statements as a passing glance. They're not something that is statically written. They should be determined as a part of the initialization of a variable, for instance. So let's try that out for a second. So what I want to do is I want to delete all of this, and I want to ask a specific question. So if I want to determine what's going on here, right? If I just wanted to print that line, or if I wanted to provide a value, I could say string, first val or eval equals, and then I can ask something very specific. I can say, once again, as you saw in these outputs, this left side, that's the expression that I wrote, right? So let's just write it again, but this time without the if statement garbage. So first number equals 1, right? If that's true, then I want you to print 1 if. Else, I want you to print not it, sir. Now, something very important about ternary operators that you need to understand, and that is ternary operators have one major flaw. They always have an else statement. And remember what I said before. Else conditions are literally undesirable. They're not desirable. So ternary operators, if there was one large caveat to using them, it is based on the fact that they have an else. Otherwise, ternary operators are extremely powerful, right? So let's go ahead and print this out and see what happens. So we're going to say console.write first save, run. What are we going to get? Well, we're going to get the value that is assigned to the string variable first eval, which is going to be 1-if, because first number equals 1. Yes, you can chain ternary operators. How do you chain ternary operators? It's the same way you write nested ifs. In this else branch, you're going to write the next ternary operator evaluation. It'll look something like this. And I'm doing this for formatting purposes, by the way. Second number equals 3. And there you go. And that's how you would write a nested ternary operator. It's oogly, but it works. And in my opinion, it's kind of beautiful in its own little way, because it's kind of off by itself. It's not bothering anybody. It's not this nasty if statement. It's very simple, very singular. So in this case, what it's literally going to do the same thing. It's going to ask if first number equals 1. And if it does, it's going to print 1 ternary, and that's it. But if that's not true, then the next ternary evaluation will occur. The next Boolean evaluation will occur. And second number it'll ask, is second number equal to 3? And if it is, it'll say 2 ternary, or it'll say not it, sir. So we're going to change this first one so it falls through to the next ternary, which will be false, and it'll print the final ternary else, which is not it, sir. And that's how ternary operators work. You might be asking, when would I ever use ternary operators? Well, the reason why ternary operators are so beautiful is because when you are writing a method, it is every developer's dream to write a method that has one line, just one. And that one line does one thing, no matter how complex it is. We always try to melt and boil and squeeze our code down to one-liners, because in the end, that's the most efficient. So theoretically speaking, you see this return down here? I would want my ternary operator here right in front of it to evaluate something very quickly and then return at the same time, because you can do this. If I took the second ternary and I put it here, like let's say I got rid of because it's returning a string, but second number is not a method. I'm gonna just add it. There, it's a term, it's a parameter now. Boom. So what's going to happen is you're going to give it second number, and this is bad practice. You should delete the other ones that are not being used and change the name to and then theoretically speaking, I can just say the method name with the variable in it. And just like that, and just like that, I have my ternary operator in one line on my return in my private method determinant value, which determines what the value of the integer is and returns a value of what it says, what the business logic is of what that should be. This happens a lot. You might receive a value, and then you have to do some conversions to get the business logic to spit out the right thing back at you. And look, not it, sir. There you go. Because we use the method, which is best practice, which contains the programming statement. And then we just returned one thing. This is something that seems frivolous, but what if I have to write this over and over again? What if I'm using the same ternary operator or doing the same compare multiple times? Well, this is one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. We haven't gotten into methods yet, but when would I use a method? When would I write one? This is something we're going to go over in these micro lectures. One of the situations I would immediately say I need to write a method is if I wrote the same line of code twice, verbatim. If I wrote the same line of code twice, I now need a method because I'm calling it twice. Now, I might preempt that and make a method anyway, because in my mind, in the future, I may have a need for it. A lot of people try to like poo-poo that and say, well, we don't need it right now, so let's not do that. But you always want to future-proof your code against that kind of stuff. It's not hard to do. It just takes a little more time to be cogent and cognizant in your mind to say, okay, well, this may be used again, so let me just make a method for it, and then we can use it later, so on and so forth. So, and that's it really. There's nothing else to really talk about for ternary operators. And as I say in all my videos, I want you guys to have fun with this information. I want you to go out there and use it, show people that you know what you're doing. So, good luck, have fun. Ciao.